Hi there, I'm Slava. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a fully custom animated menu icon in Webflow. We're going to do this in 3 steps. First, we set up the navigation bar, then add the icon and trigger, and finally create the animation using Webflow Interactions. Let's build our navigation bar. So first we add a div block to the body, and let's call it navbar wrapper. Then we add another div inside the wrapper and call it navbar. So we want to make sure that the navigation bar doesn't touch the edges of the screen, and to do that I usually add padding to the wrapper. So let's add 40 pixels. You can do it simultaneously by holding Shift key. I usually change the layout of the navbar to grid, and I keep 2 columns and 1 row. So let's delete 1 row from here. Let's place a logo to the left column. We'll use this placeholder for now. We call it logo and set a height to 72 pixels. In the right column, we're going to have a container for the icon. This container is also going to be a trigger that triggers the animation. We can call it icon container and align it to the right. So now we can add icon bars inside the icon container, and we will use div for that again. Let's call it bar and set width to 40 pixels and height to 2 pixels. And we can set a color to it. I'll use black here. So now we have 1 bar here, and usually when I do this kind of icons, menu icons, I use 2 bars at least. So let's just copy and paste it. Now we have 2 bars, but they stick together and we want them separate. To do that, we select container and change its layout to flex, direction vertical, and justify space between. Now the bars are separate, but they are too far from each other and we want them to be closer. So let's set some fixed height to the container. Let's use 50 pixels for now. The bars are now closer, but not perfect yet, so let's add some padding to the container. Let's use 12 pixels. It's really important to have the container a bit bigger so that users can easily tap it on their mobile devices, because the container is a trigger. Now the icon is aligned to the top of the navigation bar, but we want it to be in the middle. To do that, we just select the navbar and change align to center. Now we're ready to make the animation. Let's first select the trigger, our icon container, and go to Interactions. Under Element Trigger, we select mouse click Tab, and here we have 2 sections, on the first click and on the second click. Let's start doing the animation for the first click. So we start a new animation, and let's call it icon first click. On the first click, we want the bars to get together and then rotate, making the cross sign. To do that, we select the first bar and we add a movement animation to it. So here we want to affect only the selected element, because if we affect class, then both bars will move in the same direction, as they both have the same class. Let's set the duration to 0.3 seconds, and we also can add some easing, for instance in out quart. So we want the first bar to move across y-axis by 12 pixels down, and we just put 12 pixels here. Now we want to make the same kind of animation for the second bar, so we select it first and add movement animation again. We want to affect only the selected element again, and we set the same kind of duration and easing. And here we want it to move across the y-axis up, so we add -12 pixels. Let's test it in preview. First click. Yep, it works. So now we want the bars to rotate, making a cross sign. For that, we select the first bar again, and we add rotation to it. Again, we need to affect only the selected element, so we don't have to change anything in here. And let's set the same duration and easing. And here we want it to rotate by 45 degrees. Now we want to do the same type of animation for the second bar, so we select it and add rotation. We check that we affect only the selected element, set duration to 0.3 seconds, and add the same easing. But here we want the bar to rotate by minus 45 degrees, so in reverse. Let's see if it works. Yes, it does. On the second click, we want the bars to get to their initial state. For that, we need to do the animation on the second click. We start a new animation, and usually I just duplicate the first animation I have created and rename it. Let's make it icon second click. Second here, click. On the second click, we want the bars to rotate back first and then move to their initial place. For that, we need to change the order of the animation, so let's place rotation first. First, we want the bars to rotate to their normal state, so we set the rotation to 0 degrees for both of them. And the same goes for the movement. 0 pixels here for the first bar and 0 pixels for the second one. Now we save and let's test it out. The first click and then second click. Everything works as planned. Thank you for watching this video. Click the like button if you liked it and subscribe for more Webflow tutorials. Till next time.